"I got out of bed directly," said the German courier, and began to get on my clothes, begging him not to be alarmed, and telling him that I would go myself to the doctor. I was just ready, when we heard a loud knocking and ringing at the street door. My room being an attic at the back, and Mr. James's being the second-floor room in the front, we went down to his room, and put out the window to see what was the matter. "Is that Mr. James?" said a man below, falling back to the opposite side of the way to look up. "It is," said Mr. James, "and you are my brother's man, Robert." "Yes, sir. I am sorry to say, sir, that Mr. John is ill. He is very bad, sir. It is even feared that he may be lying at the point of death. He wants to see you, sir. I have a chaise here. Pray come to him. Pray lose no time." Mr. James and I looked at one another. "Wilhelm," said he, "this is strange. I wish you to come with me." I helped him to dress, partly there and partly in the chaise, and no grass grew under the horse's iron shoes between Poland Street and the forest. "Now mind," said the German courier, "I went with Mr. James into his brother's room, and I saw and heard myself what follows. His brother lay upon his bed, at the upper end of a long bed chamber. His old housekeeper was there, and others were there. I think 3 others were there, if not 4, and they had been with him since earlier in the afternoon. He was in white, like the figure, necessarily so because he had his night-dress on. He looked like the figure, necessarily so because he looked earnestly at his brother when he saw him come into the room. But when his brother reached the bedside, he slowly raised himself in bed, and looking full upon him, said these words: 'James, you have seen me before, to-night, and you know it, and so died.' I waited, when the German courier ceased, to hear something said over this strange story. The silence was unbroken. I looked round, and the 5 couriers were gone, so noiselessly that the ghostly mountain might have absorbed them into its eternal snows. By this time I was by no means in a mood to sit alone in that awful scene, with the chill air coming solemnly upon me, or, if I may tell the truth, to sit alone anywhere. So I went back into the convent parlor, and, finding the American gentleman still disposed to relate the biography of the Honorable Ananias Dodger, heard it all out. End of To Be Read at Dusk, by Charles Dickens. Recording by Alex Heatelander, Davis, California. www.alexheatelander.com